Smoky Valley, and I welcome you here this morning. And I congratulate you who have chosen to be here and take advantage of a wonderful day. And also to those of you who did not choose to be here, i.e. my two children and several other people that this was their day, our day of in-service. We're very, very excited. I want to, first of all, thank the people that helped put this together, and there are a lot of people that did that. I think some of the people took a leadership role, Lori Dean and her team, also, and John and Mark, and let's give those people a big hand. I challenge you to have a wonderful day today, and I will be very surprised if each and every one of you do not walk out of here with a new look about the future of technology and also about things that you want to apply tomorrow. So as we begin our day today, if you can't find anything in that long list of presentations this afternoon, well, you will. I know that you will. We were going to try to stay on time and follow the directions. We have some announcements to make. Student Council President is not here, but let me introduce our gentleman who is leading the group down here. Elaine Troutline will give you some direction, and I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Stupas. I'm Elaine Troutline. I'm a junior here at Smoky Valley High School. They try to call me the head geek here. I guess this is an improv speech because they just told me to do it today. So here goes the announcements that I have for you guys. Just some general information. The student council from here at Smoky Valley High School will be here to help you find your sessions and help you with whatever needs and answer questions. So if you need help, just find one of them. They'll be standing around the halls. And they're very friendly people. They don't bite, so don't worry about asking them questions. Also, the clocks here at the high school and in the middle school are 1 hour early because they haven't got set back from daylight savings time yet. So if you look at them, don't be afraid if you think you're late because you might be, but most of the time you're really not. Student information, the schedules for the presentations and in your packet. Select the presentations after keynote presentation and attend. If the session is overflowing, you might consider selecting another session. A lot of the sessions here are running more than once, so and there's more of each kind of session. So if you want to go to a gaming session, there's several of them. And then the ones that aren't like multiple sessions, there's some that are running more than once. So lunch for the students and student sponsors will be in the commons area. Be sure to stop by the vendors during your lunch. Barry Steve will be giving a iLife presentation during lunch, so that's some really interesting stuff too, so you might want to make it to that presentation during lunch. The prizes that we'll be giving away at the end of the day, if you are a student attending or presenting, you're eligible to receive the prizes. However, you must be present to win. So you must stay after if you want to win what we're giving away. Evaluation in your packet. We appreciate your feedback and how you enjoyed your day. Please fill out the evaluation for the end of the day. We will collect these on your way out. So that also helps us improve the conference for next year so you can have better enjoyment next year. So if you can please give us your information, we appreciate it. Now for the teachers. There will be a question and answer period with Alan November directly following Alan's keynote speaker. So if you have any questions you'd like him to answer, he will be here for short question and answers. And we also encourage visiting teachers to attend Alan's first teacher breakout session from 10:30 to 11:30. All visiting teachers are then free to leave. For the presenters, we remind you that lunch will be provided in the library, which has Library Media Center right on it, really big. So I guess if you miss it, you don't eat. So now for the main event, where we have Alan November, who is recognized internationally as a leader in education technology. He began his career as an oceanography teacher and dorm counselor at an island reform school for boys in Boston Harbor. He has been a director of an alternative high school computer coordinator, technology consultant, and university lecturer. As practitioner, designer, and author, Alan has guided schools, government, organizations, and industry leaders as they plan to improve quality with technology. Named one of the nation's 15 most influential thinkers of the decade by Classroom Computer Learning magazine, Alan was also identified as one of the 8 educators to provide leadership into the future by the Eisenhower National Clearinghouse. His writing includes dozens of articles and the best-selling books, empowering students with technology. Mr. November has long been a champion of web literacy and social networking. We are honored and privileged to have Mr. November here to enlighten and entertain us. Let's give a warm technology conference welcome to Alan November.
We'll put this one on, yeah? And I'll turn this one on. Yeah. Good. It's not working. I think it's working. Well, I got to tell you, I have done well over 1,000 of these presentations, and I have never seen a program like this one. But I'm going to write about it, make an article. I can feel it coming on now. I've never seen a program where students do the workshops. I don't even see programs where students are allowed to come to the workshops. Never mind give them. So whatever you're doing here, I think it's probably the most creative enterprise I've seen in over 1,000 workshops. So I just want to, do you understand what you're doing here? It's so special. If I tell my own children, I have an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old, they had to go to school on their day off, they wouldn't be here. So for those of you, it's not really working. Turn it on. That would help a lot. I should have turned it on. That's my fault. I turned it on. I knew that. Even though I've done this 1,000 times, I can't get the microphone bit right. Oh, and then something else is going to happen. My cell phone is in my pocket, and even though it's turned to stone, I have to turn it off, or yeah. Let me just get rid of that. Okay. Otherwise, it causes more vibration than I need. So, do you have any questions so far? How's this going? All right, now I gotta tell you, this is a test to see if people in Kansas can relate to people on an island in Boston. I used to teach on this island in Boston, high school. I lived there. It was a residential, kids went to the school, to the court system, instead of jail. They'd end up at the school. And they couldn't get off. That was the rule. You can't leave for months. And so I taught oceanography and algebra, and I had the same students in both classes. But in one class, oceanography, they really were paying much more attention than in algebra. Especially the unit on tides and currents. And that's not working. No, never mind. Do you get it? Do you get it? Tides and currents in island reform school? And hypothermia. Hypothermia? Because you needed that information in order to escape. I taught the escape course on this island reform school. And every kid, after school, taking notes, paying attention, making up tests, they really wanted to know. So, what I've learned early in my teaching career, when people are desperate for knowledge, they will pay attention. That's what I learned. Absolutely need to know, you will pay attention. And you don't look desperate. You don't look desperate. So, I'm going to try to make you desperate. Step one is to make people desperate. Let me tell you how I think. I got these 2 kids, my children. I love them dearly. And, but we have a family plan at home, and that is we want them to move out of our house permanently. We want them to get their own place, right? That's Okay, now how many of you believe, because of technology, in fact, the bed and breakfast where I stay, I was told that the young man, who's probably in the room, who lived there was on a headset playing an online game with somebody he knows in Houston, right? Totally connected. So totally connected. My kids do the same thing. And then when they go to school, they have to unplug all that and walk in. How many of you think because of all the technology we have, and kids can learn it so fast, that children are moving out of their parents' house at a younger and younger age? Younger and younger? No. No. How many think it takes longer and longer to become, yes, okay. Here's the deal. By the way, that school where I taught was a farm and trade school, originally started in 1814, when even Boston had farms. And I learned about a tractor and a truck. It was a lot of fun. So, you know, we get to do that very often. The last farm in Boston is on this island. So there I am, learning about farming all of a sudden. And it turns out in this country, and I don't believe I'm telling you this, being in Kansas, but 80% of all the people in the country, 80%, used to live and work on farms at one time. That was it, 80%. That's a lot. And then I heard about a tractor today, has global positioning, tells the tractor how deep to put the seeds. What is that about? You know, that's incredible what's happened to tractors. So you need fewer and fewer farmers, is that right? More technology means fewer and fewer farmers. So what technology does is it destroys a whole way of life. We don't need 80% of people working on farms. Because of technology, the United States only needs about 1% of its people to grow food for the rest of the country and a lot of the world. 1%. Now we have new technologies coming. And it's going to happen again. Jobs, not farming jobs, I mean engineering, architecture, accounting. Those jobs are going to be in jeopardy the same way that the 80% of the people who used to live and work on farms can no longer get work there. So we're in a very, very difficult transition. It hasn't started yet, but it's starting up, just starting up. Now, I'll give you an example. My brother is a chemical engineer outside of Philadelphia. And he's younger than I am and much smarter. MIT paid him a lot of money to go to school. So he's a smart guy. My brother's a very smart guy. He's traveled all over the world building chemical plants. So all the guys on his research team have lost their jobs except him to a company in India where they have chemical engineers who earn roughly 1/5 of what my brother earns. 1/5. And because of the same technology in the house where I woke up this morning, internet connections to people around the world, you don't need to be in Philadelphia to do the work in Philadelphia. You can be in India, right? Right. But the only reason my brother still has his job is because he gets on a plane and he flies to India to train the chemical engineers over there. And when he's done training, it's probably over for him, too. When he graduated from university, he did not anticipate that at the end, toward the end of his career, with all the knowledge he has, he would actually lose his job, not because of incompetence, but because somebody who doesn't even come to work is willing to earn much less money than my brother with the same quality of education in a developing country. You believe the story? You got to believe the story to believe the rest. So here we are. Problem is not technology. The problem is preparing our students to be globally competitive. That's the problem. Globally competitive. This is the first generation of students who will have to compete with people around the world. We've never had that before the internet. By the way, it all started in roughly 2000 when we overbuilt the internet. We overbuilt it, so it became cheap to send information. That's it, that's the story. It was the internet that created the conditions for my brother to have to fly to India to train the people who are going to take his job. What an irony. So, 3 skills. We're going to talk about 3 skills today. And let me preface this by telling you what the data shows about young people in this country. In 1990, 32% of all young adults came back to live with their parents at least once. 32%. In 2000, 60% of all young adults came back to live with their parents at least once. Last year it was 65%. I'm a baby boomer. That was the name. Some of us, there are some baby boomers in the room. The 2 teenagers I'm raising, demographers have just named them because they're watching young people move out and come back and move out and come back. I'm raising what are now called boomerangs. I will send them out and they will come back. My children will boomerang. So I can't sell my house yet, even when they leave. Can't sell. So I think there's 3 skills to save the boomerangs. Number 1, we've got to teach people to deal with a lot of information. A lot. And I'm going to try and show you. Massive amounts of information. Number 2, it's important to teach people to work with other people around the world. That we should actually teach our children how to outsource. We could try to stop it. Good luck. Or, once we get past that attempt, we teach people how to work with people all over the world. So the time students graduate from here, they will understand how to work with Japanese, how to work with people in India, work with people in China, Central America, art and music, mathematics and science, literature, and teach children how to work with people all over the world. And third is the toughest one, probably take a long time, longer than today. You got to teach people to be self-directed. The big change on my corporate client stuff, in fact, there's people in the room I've known for a while who will know this. If you need a boss to tell you what to do, compared to somebody who is self-directed and knows how to keep working on their own, they can manage their own work. The person who can manage their own work is a lot more valuable than somebody who needs a boss to tell you what to do. So we're going to talk a little bit today about more and more responsibility for students. And if there's been any place I've come in the 1,000 workshops I've done, you have students who are directing the technology and making the announcements and running the workshops. You are doing it here. I've never seen it like this. You should probably do it naturally, but I gotta tell you, I'm very impressed, and there's more to come. Okay. Now I have to ask students, what's your favorite search engine? Google? Alta Vista? Google? Google? Something? Alright, here's Google, yeah? Here's Google. And I typed in November, it's my last name, yeah? Last name's November. And I get 1,680,000,000 web pages. By the way, last week, before it became November, the month of November, it was 1 billion. So in a couple days, because the month became November, you get a lot more web pages referencing November. 1,680,000,000. And my website is number 4. Right there. That's me. You're hard to impress. Let me say this again. Out of 1,680,000,000, I'm number 4. I'm number 4. No. You can't clap when I tell you to. Too late, too late. Now, you understand, a guy like me, I have a little company, I hang out in my little house north of Boston, and I work all over the world, and I meet people, and I often only remember my last name, it's easy to remember, and I type that in, I've got to be in the top 5. The research shows that most people only look at the top screen. You're right? I mean, you know what you do, I can't tell you what you do. How often do you look at 1 billion? You never. So if I was 100 million, even in the top 10%, it wouldn't do me any good. I have to be in the top How did I do that? I'm the top 5, by the way, in Singapore, in Sweden, in Hong Kong, anywhere I go in the world, I play this game just to check. And I do. I travel around. I get around. Way too much. Way too much. Now, or if we type in, I gotta stretch this out a little bit. See? Now, if I type in octopus into Google, and I do a search, the Pacific Northwest tree octopus out of 16 million is number 5. So we'll click on that. By the way, I was just there in Vancouver, British Columbia last week, and right here, that's a rare photo. You haven't seen one of these, have you? No. This octopus lives in the trees. And the reason you don't know about it is because it's very, very rare, it's going extinct. The reason it's going extinct is because loggers near Seattle are cutting down the last remaining forests. Whoops. Just for that. Cutting down the last remaining forests near Tacoma and Seattle. But another problem has been for years and years and years, women have been buying true octopus hats. No. Listen though. How many 6th grade students searching for octopus in Google, finding this in the top screen, believe it to be true? How many? All of them. All of them. This is a study. Pretty amazing. Now, if I get rid of this, why is it number 4 out of, or 5 out of 16 million? Then, if I type in Martin Luther King and do a search, right? The very first one, after the paid one, and above the Nobel Prize and above Stanford, the first one, this one, is a very odious site, very, very mean site. And let's see if I can get to it. There it is. Yeah. This is a site, and sometimes what I'll do is I'll ask students who put it on the internet. Why does this content even exist? Who put it there? And one of the first things students will do, unless you want to tell me, you want to tell me who? How do you know who put something on the internet? Do you know? Yeah. Whoa, I'm in a special place here. You go to Easy Who Is. You know you're the first kid to tell me that in 1,000. Here's what you do. Most students, unlike this one, who's just ruined my teachable moment. No more right answers, okay? Most students will look at the web address and they'll say it's the Martin Luther King organization. Because it's just natural to them that the web address, like nasa.gov, has something to do with the owner of the information. And outside of Smoky Valley, I'll say, no, that's not it. And maybe I shouldn't even tell you this because you all know. But so I'm going to do what this young man told me to do. I'm going to create a new, here, I'll find something you don't know. I'll keep hunting until I catch up. Let's see, where was I going to go? Easy Who Is? Where should I go? Easy Who Is? That's what you said, isn't it? So we go to easywhois.com. For those of you who might not know this, you type in the web address and you come to the owner. Eventually. Boom. And there's the owner. And the owner is Stormfront. Stormfront owns, that went up, that address, Martin Luther King was granted a license January 14th, 99, and it is owned by Don Black, and he's with Stormfront. And when I go to Stormfront, to see what that looks like, because this is how I keep tracking it, now I gotta go to Stormfront. Many of you have seen this already, and I'll get past this quickly. Stormfront is a hate group. There it is, White Pride Worldwide, White Pride Worldwide. Music Radio, Town Hall, David Duke. You know who David Duke is? Yeah. So, I have actually studied this site, Stormfront. I've looked at it. And I'm fascinated by it. Every day there is a new web radio. They're constantly creating content that you can put into an MP3 player, iPod, your computer, every day. Every single day. And there's forums, and you can put up your own opinions about things, and when it's your birthday, you get a birthday card from them automatically. First thing in the morning is you get a birthday card from Stormfront. So they're desperate to get their message out. They're doing everything they can to influence how children think about issues of race. I think educators should study hate sites. I think we should know what other people are doing who are not in education to try and get their message out across the internet. The reason I gotta tell you, do any of you, just by chance, is there a teacher in this room who podcasts every day? Every single day. You're doing what Stormfront is doing, an audio feed of what happened in class that day, so that your students can go home and listen. Anything? No. No. It would be very, very rare. I've only been to one school in the country where that's happened. I think for a day, we should pretend that schools don't exist. Here, I'll give you an extreme. In 2 days from now, I'm going to literally be in a mountaintop in New York because I've been asked to come in to plan for the bird flu. Do you understand? If the Asian bird flu hits the United States, which they're predicted to do, then schools will be shut down. The health department will shut down every school in Kansas, and the children will not be allowed to come back until the danger of the bird flu is past. I'll just tell you. Do you believe me? This is the plan. Now, what if you still have to deliver education, though? The schools are shut down, and you still have to teach children mathematics and science and reading and history and art and music. What would you do? Because the teachers will be home. Most of you will be okay. You'll be healthy. I think you should take that scenario with these kids and figure out all the things you could do to deliver instruction if you did not have your school buildings to come to. That's what they do. And they get their message out. So here, I'm just going to keep going here for a moment. Here, another next question. If I want to see the history of that site, Martin Luther King, I want to see it the day it came out. How do I do that? Another website for that. Who knows that? You know that. The Wayback Machine. Who are you people? What have you done to them? You've ruined my workshop, you know. Just ruined it. But let's go anyway. The Wayback Machine. Oh my. Archive.org. All right. Critical thinking. Let's take a look. Right? www. Lori, I am so impressed with what you've done to these kids, or somebody has. Take me back. Okay, now, in the archive.org, for any teacher in the room who might not know what these students know, here's a list of dates. So I'm hitting the April 21st, 1999 date, and that is what the site looked like in 99. It's still coming up, it takes time. By the way, at the bottom, it says the webmaster is at stormfront.org. It says that. Today, it doesn't say that. One of the most important skills is to drill back in time to look at how a website has changed over time. It's a really important skill. The archive.org website has the Wayback Machine. So, do any of you students, I shouldn't ask, do you have a MySpace account or? No, not anymore. No, you do. Yeah. In the country, did you know that blogging is very popular with teenagers? It is, trust me, it is. And one of the things I'll do is show teenagers that once you put something on the internet, even if you take it down, it is still there. So if you're going to apply to college one day or get a job, and you put something on your website that was inappropriate when you were 16 years old, and you take it off just before you apply to college or apply for the job, somebody with a little bit of skill can go back and find what you put on the web when you were 16. So I think we should teach children that once it's on the internet, it's always on the internet. There's a record, running record. Okay, next little bit. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play a video. I'm going to jump. I'm trying to do something you don't know here. This is a video that kids made. Kids made this out of Los Angeles. And they went to college. They're all freshmen in college when they're making this. And they're reflecting back on their high school, and they're looking forward. I think it's a really, I like this video a lot because it's in the voice of students. So for the students and the teachers, I would love to hear what you think they're saying. What are these students saying that we could be doing in school because of technology? And let's, oh, I have to plug in. I must have taken this out. Here we go.
In the workplace.
This place isn't perfecting my skills for the new business world, then why am I here?
Oh, by the way, as a freshman, what he was just saying, because I cut out a lot of the video, is that he got to college for a certain job and then realized that that job's being outsourced. So now he's stuck because he doesn't know what to do now. So that's what he was leading up to.
If I had to tell a teacher, how can we make my information better, and how can we communicate with me better, I say listen.
Give me a chance to express myself in your class.
Sit down with me and talk to me. Sit down with every student. Figure out what it is that's clicking in their life.
I think the way that teachers are teaching is becoming a norm. They feel that they have to regurgitate information or make us regurgitate information.
I think it would make it even more exciting for them. Because I don't know too many people who just want to stand there and talk.
Students are changing the way that they want to learn. You know, we're becoming more visual. We're demanding more things from them.
They have all this digital culture that they're interacting with, that the teacher is not taking advantage of.
They're at the head of the class. They are the ones with all the information, that hold all this information, and we're there just to receive it.
But I think they need to break the norm. You know, break it. Who cares?
What technology is allowing us to do is to step outside of that, like just students, and move up there with the teachers. But teachers aren't prepared to do that.
If your sole purpose is just to prepare them for the future, then you have to go outside and see what the future's going to be.
Be different. You know, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be different. We're trying to express ourselves differently. We're trying to communicate in different forms.
When I become a teacher, I'm going to have to learn and accept that students are going to have even more accessible to them. And if I don't adapt to that, I'm going to start to lose my students.
One of the things that one of the girls said is, I want to be up there with my teacher. What you're doing here, you got the kids leading these workshops. But every day, one of the things that fascinates me is, could we ask students to teach every day? Every single day, across many of our classes, could students be leading our classes? And I'd like to show you some strategies I've seen where that is happening. Because what I've learned is when students own the learning, they tend to do better. It's absolutely amazing. Here, let me show you. I used to teach American history in Lexington, Massachusetts, which is a pretty interesting place to teach American history. Here, I'll ask you. Do you know, what's your name? Cooper? Cooper. You're the first Cooper I've met. Cooper. Okay. Do you know how I can find sites only in England? Only in any one country? Any one country. Yeah, close. Yeah, close. Close. Very close. Anybody else? You were so close. Advanced search? You want me to go to advanced search? Yeah? Alright. And then what do you want me to do? Go down some? Okay. It says search right in here. Down. Okay, let me get rid of that. Whoops. No, I can't get rid of that. Doesn't matter. Go further down. Location. What should I do there? Man, are you close? Who are these kids? I am so impressed. Okay. Here, let me back up. You are remarkably close. There's a command called host. Any web address outside the US has a 2-letter country code. I'll just tell you in England it's the UK. So UK is the country code outside of the United States. So now, if I type in American Revolution, because that's what I'm going to search for. Help me with spelling. Revolution. And I need a guy named General Gage. General Gage was in charge of the British troops in Boston. Important dude. So the 35 results are only in England. They're only in England. You know what I've learned? I hope this sounds okay politically. For the 10 years or so that I taught American history, I only taught the American version. It never even occurred to me that the British have a very different version of what happened than we do. But then one day I was in England on July 4th, and I was doing a workshop. And I brought my kids, and a friend of mine, met us there, and said, what do you want to do tonight? And I said, remember it's July 4th, I said, I want to see the fireworks. And he said, we don't have fireworks. And I said, what are you talking about? It's July 4th. He said, what does that mean? Nothing. And I realized, oh my gosh, the British don't even celebrate. They don't care. There is no Independence Day. It doesn't happen. Now, so then I started looking into it, and I realized, well, not only do they not celebrate, they have a completely different version of why we even went to war. It's completely different. And so, in fact, this one at Oxford, about why did the American colonists revolt? And this is the British version. Well, one of many British versions. And it's a myth. It's just a myth that it wasn't so much about freedom. It was a bunch of rich people who wanted to earn more money, so they leveraged the poor to go to war and they could earn more money. It's a completely, we would never tell this version. Do you understand? Never. I mean, ours is right. This couldn't be. Right? Now, but I've learned something. I've learned that if you really want to get students even more motivated than kids here, oh my gosh, then what you do is you connect them in a live debate with the people in England so that the students in Kansas are debating the students in England what were the original causes of the American Revolution. By the way, have you done that? Have you connected your students live in any subject in a debate? Ooh, this is fun. This is fun. And you know how to do that, right? You go to Skype. Let's see if anybody's on Skype right now. See if Chris is still there. I was trying to call Chris. Chris has to race to the airport, but let me see if we can get him. So Chris is in Houston. He could be in this, and the rest of you get it. Look at all the kids got it. Look at this.
Morning, Alan. How are you?
Morning, Chris. Chris, I'm near Salina. Where am I? Am I near Salina? Did I say that right? Salina. Yeah, I'm in Kansas.
Ah, Kansas.
I'm in Kansas. I don't think there's many Patriots fans here. Did we win Patriots? They lost. Anyway, never mind. No! What is that? It just applauded because I said that the New England Patriots lost. What are you, Colts fans? Colts? Chiefs? Okay. Chiefs. Fine. Anyway, Chris and I are on Skype. This is Skype, and he can hear me, and I can hear him, and we can put 4 or 5 other people on around the world, and you can put 100 people on. This is a powerful technology. If I were teaching again, this is the first technology I would use. I would get Skype. So if you're a teacher, by the way, it's the best part of this workshop because you'll never have to pay the telephone company for a long-distance phone call again. Just that alone. Just that. And Chris and I work with people. Chris is on his way to New York City, aren't you, Chris?
Yep, just getting ready to walk out the door.
Yep. And we work in Belfast and Ireland, and we work in Hawaii, we work all over the world, and we have to solve problems and put people together, and we do it with Skype. So, it's free. And this is what you would use to debate the British. They get Skype, you get Skype, free phone call, doesn't cost a dime. Call anywhere you want in the world. And Chris, I guess good luck today. I was just wanting to demonstrate Skype, Chris.
Oh, that's great. I'll be calling you later when I do my training.
Okay, are you a Chiefs fan? Say yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, so here's what you do. For those of you who don't know Skype, get one of these kids to help you. You go to the web, and you go to Skype, skype.com. Go get Skype. Skype for the Mac. If you have Windows, it'll say Skype for Windows. No matter, don't worry. And then you just hit download. And now you're going to get a Skype user account. And my user account, maybe one of you will Skype me one day, I am Global Learner, except I left out 2 L's, so it really reads Global Earner. But that works for me. So, every classroom could be a global communication center. Every single classroom, I believe, I'll give you an example. In kindergarten, a little girl in Philadelphia is from India, it's an immigrant girl, and she's crying, and the kindergarten teacher comforts her and finds out that her grandmother didn't come with the family, she remained in India. So the grandmother gets an email from the kindergarten teacher, and the kindergarten teacher says, download Skype, we have Skype. And the next day, the little girl comes to class and just talks to her grandmother. Just talks. And the grandmother and the little girl are talking in kindergarten, back and forth, and the whole class can hear it. And what do you think the other kindergarten kids want to do when they hear this little girl talking? They want to talk to the grandmother, by the way, in the native language. And they also want to talk to their own grandmothers. But there's almost no precedent in our schools to connect very young children to their families live. And then you have Swedish heritage here. I work in Stockholm. If you want, if you don't have your own connections, I work with the Ministry of Education in Sweden. I will be happy to connect you to teachers across Sweden live. I can tell you're excited. I can tell you're excited. It's that Swedish heritage of yours. Yes, good. Any questions about Skype? How many of you teachers have used this in your class? You've connected students live to have conversations with people around the world. Lori has. 1, 2. You have?
These kids are in teams.
Teams?
So they want to work on things in mind. They can get on and Skype each other. And
Whoa. You organized that.
well, they work.
They did. The geeks.
We will.
The geeks did. See, geeks are going to rule. This is... But you know what? As I look at the geeks, may I point out something? Are you a geek? Yeah, but as I look at the geeks, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, not geek? No, not geek? 9. Are you a geek? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We only have 12, 13, 14. Okay. Out of the 14 geeks, I don't see a lot of girls. 1. See, 1 out of 14. That's bad odds for girls. That's bad. No, I mean, it's good that you got the geeks. Great. But in the country, the same thing that's happening here is happening everywhere else in the United States. Girls are not at the top level. And this isn't a good idea because it is a lot of power. This is a huge amount of power. And if we don't understand gender differences and help girls, it's going to be bad at the end. Girls need more support. Work harder. You gotta solve this problem. How come you're a geek? Because you what? You're just geeky. You hang out with him. That answers that question. Okay. There had to be another reason. I knew that. Okay. Any questions so far, by the way, where this is going? What does Google do what it did, by the way? Why am I number 4? Never finished that. I did not pay for it. No, I'm cheap. No paying. I did not go to my site a bunch of times. No, not that many times. No. Let's go back to Google. All right. Finally found something they don't know. Oh, except you're teasing me, aren't you? You do know. If I type in November one more time, and we do search, what do we got? Yes. I love controlling Google. I just love it. How did I do it, though? How did I do it? What? Say it again. I canceled my account. Okay. Here's how I did it. This is called a Google bomb. Google is nothing more than a popularity contest. And it's based on counting links between websites. So, let's say you're my friends, and you all have a website. Actually, the geeks do. Hopefully geeks. A lot of these kids have their own website. And I want November to be number 1 in Google. So what I'll do is I'll say to the people who have a website, please type November on your website. And highlight it and hit the little add link button and put my address behind November on your website. So Google counts the number of links between websites. My website keeps moving up in Google as more links come into it from around the world. That's it. Links. But the students don't know this, and they think they're only going to look at the top screen. Then I worry that people like me will manipulate what you see. It's as if I went to the library and I decided that in the middle of the night, when the librarian's gone, I'm going to arrange all the books. Because I know people will only look at the first shelf. So I take the first shelf, I put all my books there. That's what's happening with Google every day. By the way, the search engine to use for teaching is answers.com. I'll show you. let me show you what you might want to switch to. We'll go back to being practical. And I know this is boring, but kind of important. Answers.com. Okay, Martin Luther, wait a minute. Martin Luther King. Can't spell and I can't see. Alright, so with Answers.com, it pulls from reference material. So I can't manipulate it. The first one, here we go. Did I get this? American Heritage Dictionary, the Quotations Book, Britannica, Columbia University Press, Houghton Mifflin. Thomson Gale is the largest provider of reference material to libraries in the world. Thomson Gale. These are brands that your teachers understand. These are good brands. This is the truth, in a way. And then at the bottom, when I get all the way down past this reference material that is reviewed by scholars and published by reputable publishers, everything is well organized, the references, the external links. The video and audio material is so well organized, it's amazing. And then if I need to cite Columbia University Press, for example, I hit the Cite button, and it tells me, well, what format do you want? MLA, Chicago, or APA, and I'll click on Chicago, and it changes the format to match that. Oh, you like that? You clapped at the right time. All right, you see how different this is in Google? Anybody can manipulate Google. A white supremacist owns Martin Luther King, but I can't get a white supremacist showing up here. So if a student is at home and they're using Google, they better know how it works, or use another search engine, or both, right? Answers. The next search engine, since you clapped at that, I'm going to take your lead and show you another one that I think is not quite as clappable, but not bad. Ask.com, I bet many of you know this one. Especially for younger children, you would want to put in Ask.com because if you type in Martin Luther King to continue a comparison, we'll do the tools on the right are what make this special. It says, do you want to narrow your search? See, the average student only looks at the top screen of results. But this search engine shows you a directory of going deeper, 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 right in the front screen. And I can say, well, show me more. It shows me all these ways I could have searched. But most students won't think of all those ways. And then, if I want to scroll down even further, there are other tools here on the top screen. It says, well, do you want to expand your search? And I can say more, and it will give me more items for expansion. And then it has another tool and it says, well, do you want the related names? And it gives me more related names. So for young children, it's really nice because it helps them expand their understanding of other words they could have used to get a deeper search. So the two search engines, Answers.com and Ask.com, I think should be used together, at least in elementary and middle school. Here, I'll give you a test. Here's a test. If you wanted to check out who I am, you don't know me, and you're wondering whether you should come today, as if you had a choice, but if you wanted to test me out, unfortunately, what a lot of people do is they go to Google, right? And I'll show you. If you go to Google, and you type in my name in Google, Alan November. Do a Google search, just to show you. I own the first website, the second website, the third website, the fourth website. That's Apple, but it's my stuff. It's a video of me at Apple. And then I own it. I just own it. I own the top. You see? I control it. I own it. Got it. On those websites, I look really good. No, that's not clapping yet. All right, go ahead. All right. Yeah, but here's the test for you, yeah? What search engine would give you a more honest review of how other people view my work? where I cannot control it. What search engine? Only searches for blogs. Here, I'll give you a hint. Just name me any search engine that only searches for blogs. Geeks? Miss Geek? No. Come on. Technorati, who said that? Oh, you did. That's good. No, that is good. No, Laura, you're right on. You're so right on. It's amazing. Technorati, just to show you. Technorati. Different search engine for different purposes. Now, Technorati only searches for blogs. Every parent needs to know about this search engine. Every single parent. So if I type in my name, Alan November, and do you see in blog posts? I'm leaving it there. Do a search. Click search. Okay, there are 1,790 entries. Divorce counseling, that's not me. I'm not a divorce counselor in San Diego. But it's Alan on November 6th, so you can see that's not me. That's bad. 17 hours ago, that wasn't me either. K-12 online hits, that's me. David Warlick is just barely behind other ranking people. Oh good, I'm ahead. One day ago, today's session with Alan November and Will Richardson. Okay, so what you're seeing here are the blogs of teachers at Stanford. I do some work at Stanford. But none of this is my stuff, you understand? I didn't put this on. These are the blogs of professors and teachers who are commenting on my work. It would be a much better search engine than Google. All right, now here's the problem. We are teaching children as if paper is going to be the dominant media of society. And it's already second, I'll just tell you. I think we need to teach children what tool to use to find the information they need to find. A range of search engines with deep critical thinking skills. So here, let me just keep going for a moment. Lori, did you teach them the backlink also? Finally, okay. All right, here. Let me show you something unbelievably sad. Alta Vista. If I really want to teach you to understand content on a website, I will go to Alta Vista and type in the word link, and then colon. Then I'll type in a web address, martinlutherking.org. Okay, do you know this trick? Not really? Okay. Link, colon, and a web address. What do you think? What are these results? What do they represent? Do you know? Pardon? Yes. The 2,500 are websites that have a link to Martin Luther King. I now know who is linked to Martin Luther King. But 2,500 is too much for me. So what I'm going to do is type in host:/edu. With the combination of those two, I have 476. What does that list represent? Can you tell? But not a geek, now a teacher. Can you tell what I've just done? Yeah, okay. They're only, because of host:/edu, I'm telling the search engine to limit the results to web addresses that are only from universities. Only. These are universities that have commentary about the Martin Luther King site. And you can see it's Vermont, it's Binghamton University, Ohio, Harvard Law School, Seton Hall, boom, boom, boom. Now if I click on any one of those, I get the commentary the university's making, and all of a sudden, evaluating internet resources, evaluation tips, the playlist. Every one of these universities is sending out a warning that the site is owned by a white supremacist. But if I don't know how to backlink, if I can't map incoming links, I miss the university commentary on the site. Here, let's see, host, Kansas. I should have tried this earlier, but I didn't. k12.ks.us. Yeah? Is that your extension? There's one. What's DV229? Becca Smith, Library Media Specialist, Blue Valley High School. How do you approach research? So if I click on this, what's a PPS? PowerPoint. It's a PowerPoint presentation. And I can open it. I'm not going to do it now, because I don't have time and I haven't seen it. But I have just found the librarian's PowerPoint presentation from Blue Valley connected to the Martin Luther King site, and I'm going to take a wild guess that if I open this, the librarian is explaining that it's a revisionist site. But by looking at the Martin Luther King site, I can't find the Blue Valley Librarian PowerPoint, unless I know how to map the links coming into it. Is this? Yeah. Wow. I'm going to look at that later. By the way, the other day, it was really bad news. I was in New York, and I typed in ny.us, and unlike in Kansas, teacher was, where were we? Greece, New York, Chappaqua. No, it's gone now. Oh, they fixed it. There was a site that the teacher was recommending this as a, oh my gosh, it was awful. I asked my graduate students to write to them. They did, they took it off. Yay. All right. 3 things. Number 1, I think we should ask students, what search engine did you use? Every time students use the internet, I think there's 3 really important questions. If they're only using Google, they're probably being manipulated. Every time they go to Google, someone controls Google. That's possible. So a range of search engines is really important. Ask your students, what search engine did you use? Number 2, ask your students, what do the forward links reveal for the potential for bias? Here, and then I'm going to quickly get out of this and go do more interesting things. Martin Luther King. If I go over every one of these links on the top, you can't see it because the LCD has wiped me out, but maybe you can. At the bottom is the web address, martinlutherking.org. Almost every link on this page has another martinlutherking.org domain name. In other words, the developer of this website does not take you anywhere else, only inside their own work. I think we should teach children to read web addresses of the links that are on a page. And the third question to ask, what do the backlinks tell you? What do universities say? What do schools in Kansas say? What's the commentary on the site you think is valid? Those 3 questions, I believe, are essential. The search engine, forward links, and backlinks. Okay, next, let's do fun stuff. How many of you who are teachers use a blog or an interactive website in your teaching? Do you have someone does? Anybody else? 2? Wow, that's a very what you do. Here, I'll show you mine. I teach DOTL, our graduate course, for principals and superintendents. Howdy from Texas. Huh. That's Chris, just did that. Wow, what are you doing? Saddam sentenced to death by hanging. This is a portrait I drew. These are my new students playing around. We started this not too long ago. These are students I had from a year ago who are still writing on my blog. The class ended last May. And my students, for the first time in my teaching career, it's November 5th and November 5th, they are still writing and sharing. I have never experienced this in years and years and years of teaching, ever. I want to show you a blog of some teachers. Actually, just before we go to blogs, I want to connect some things. Wikipedia fascinates me. And very often, it's not used in education. I'm going to give you an example of one of the most powerful ways of using Wikipedia and blogs together. I have a friend. What's the smallest town in Kansas? Coda? Codell? Pretty small? How small? 50 people? Yeah, that's small. What did you say? Best? V-E-S, smaller than Codell? Oh, wait, 10. Okay. That's not a town, that's a house. 10 people's a town? What is that? What are you talking about? You can't have a town with 10. Vesper. I mean, who lives there? Vesper. Are they all related? Is that, what is that? Vesper. Greek. Uh-oh. No. Wrong one. There is no Vesper. That's the first time. Oh my gosh, there's no... Let's type in Kansas with that. Vesper, Kansas. It's in Kansas, right? I mean, all right. Kansas. Go Kansas. Lincoln County, Kansas? Yeah. It's in Lincoln County? Yeah. Okay. Is that where it is? Does it look right to you? About there? Lincoln County, located in the state of Kansas. As of 2000, the county was 3,500. Oh my Lord! That's a county? That's not a county? That's a fishing tournament. And then they got these cities, and where's Vesper? Oh my God, it is. Look at that, 103 people. Says, I don't know. Okay, now, here's what I would do if I were teaching in Vesper or had students whose family was from there. Watch this, seriously. I have a friend who's third grade teacher down in New Orleans. And every year, the kids go visit this old house. Colonial thing. It's on the National Register, called the Peto House. It's just a house. But there wasn't any article about it in Wikipedia. It didn't have any entry on the Peto House, which I'm still waiting to show you. Just trust me, there it is. House, that's it. No article, and the teacher says to the third grade kids, we should write the article, and we should submit it. And the kids said, yes, we'll do it. So the kids wrote the article. And now it's in Wikipedia, third grade kids. And then what's cool about Wikipedia, in my opinion, it has a history tab. History. So you can see the history of any article. And my friend, my third grade teacher in New Orleans, is named Natalie Watt. And so from January 24th to the 25th, Natalie got the notes from all the third grade kids and put them together and created an article. And then the fun started. Then, on January 29th and February 22nd and June 12th, in July and August, other people started adding, like that photograph. That was added by somebody else. And the kids realized that the work they started was being read by people around the world, and other people were adding to the work they started. It turns out that was the most exciting part of the experience as she tells the story, that the third grade kids realized that they had done something really important. They had created a legacy. They created and published for the world to see and continue. So, when I was in 3rd grade, I would go to the encyclopedia with 3x5 cards and copy stuff over, and the best part of the assignment, in my own words, I'm then supposed to copy that back and give it to the teacher. That was the encyclopedia assignment. Today, you could have 3rd grade kids write the encyclopedia. All right. Next idea. After we teach people critical thinking on the internet, I think we should teach people to publish on the internet. Starting from a very young age, publishing. All the way across the curriculum. Wikipedia is a great place to start. Teaching children that they can add content to the encyclopedia, biggest one in the world. Any questions on this? Yeah? Trustworthy. I'm really glad you asked. That was the setup. So get ready for the answer. The New York Times did a study between Britannica and Wikipedia. On average, Britannica had 3 mistakes per article. Wikipedia had 4. The difference between Wikipedia and Britannica is we tell people Britannica is correct. So, and there won't be any entry in Vesper in Britannica. There won't be any entry. Plus, I gotta tell you something else. Wikipedia has tightened up. It used to be much worse. They now have people who are called Wikipedians. No, I mean that. I'm not making this up. I know this sounds silly. There are tens of thousands of people who have earned this stature. For example, once a month, I submit an article about myself. But it doesn't last that day. It's gone. Because I'm not important. The 3rd grade kids did more important work than I did. Wikipedia is moderating. Plus, the other day, I'll just tell you, actually about a couple of months ago, I was in England doing a workshop. And the principal of the high school asked me to talk to students who weren't doing well in school. Probably the opposite of these kids. They weren't doing well. And I talked to them and I said, what are you doing at home when you're not in school with technology? And they told me they were downloading music into their iPod and they were getting their own blogs and they were playing video games and they were using YouTube and they were, there's one more thing. What do you do when you're not in school? Oh, video games, instant messenger, right? Does that make sense? Instant messenger, playing video games, downloading music, YouTube, and building your own website. Anything else you want to add to that? Good list, huh? That's it? Facebook, no, that's blogging, that's the same. Facebook. Okay, so same here. And eventually the principal interrupted them. He couldn't believe it because the school was blocking all those things. Here you have kids who are struggling in school. One kid said they spend 5 hours a day on their website when they go home. 5 hours a day. And the principal is thinking, what if we could get that 5 hours to schoolwork? I want that 5 hours. So the principal interrupted. He couldn't take it anymore. He says to the kids, what subject do you hate the most? Remember, this is in England. And they said, English. And I'm thinking, this is England. How can you not like English? And I said, well, what's going on in your class? And they're all reading Macbeth. And I said, well, how does that go? And they said, well, we read a chapter, take a quiz, read a chapter, take a quiz, read a chapter, take a quiz. And I don't understand what I'm reading. The poor boy was just saying, I can't get it, I don't get it. And I said, go to Wikipedia. First of all, read the short version, don't read the whole thing. No, I know, that's bad, right? That's bad. Bad. But he's not getting it anyway. He's not getting it. He's not doing the work. Okay, the Scottish play. And then I said, look, here's the film versions. You got film versions. 1916, 1948, 1955, 1991, 1997. I mean, Macbeth has had an impact. Pretty important. It's actually pretty important, isn't it? And then there's the literary versions, you know? All the ways it's been adapted. Then there's the television versions. Then there's the musical adaptations. Are you following so far? This is for you. Now, Britannica will not have this. Wikipedia has all the popular culture. Popular culture. So, what I told the student, I said, look, why don't you just download Macbeth and listen to the whole thing? Don't even read it. Just listen to it. Because kids will listen. Right? They'll listen. And then I said, why don't you grab a couple of these video versions and remix them together, grab from 1916, do an analysis across adaptations of Macbeth, and present that to your class. The impact of Macbeth on television and the movies, right? Not a bad assignment, right? And the kids are getting all excited. We can do that? And I said, yeah, you can do that. And the principal said, well, no, they can't, because the English teacher's not here to hear this. So she'll only take something in writing. She won't take remixing in that school. So I love Wikipedia because I can connect kids to popular culture, even in something serious like Macbeth, to get them turned on. Yeah. Any other questions so far? We'll do a little bit more. Okay. Here, let me show you one more thing. I'm going to show you a movie. Another movie time. I'll finish with this. This will be my last little thing, and then we'll talk to the teachers. This is a movie from New York City, where I do a lot of work in very, very, very poor neighborhoods. Very dangerous, very poor. The South Bronx. These are New York City poets on the island of Manhattan. They're not going to the South Bronx. But the students have something like Skype, so they're presenting their poetry to the New York City poets.
My name is Geraldine Reynoso, and my poem is called Darkness. Darkness is something we can't forget. Darkness is all I got inside. I feel caught in my own tears. I feel sick like when you cough and you can't get out. Is it in my brain or is it in my heart? Will I die or will I survive? These are the questions I ask. And I open my eyes and I see light. And under the light there's fear. Fear of closing my eyes and staying in the darkness forever. But if one day you get this strange feeling, you'll know that what you have inside is darkness. Thank you.
The students are clapping and cheering wildly because they're competing with another class. Each class sends one student up to their camera at a time. So they're trying to influence the judges, just so you know. Just so you know, influencing the judges. Listen to this boy.
Sometimes I ask myself the hardest questions, whether it be rhetorical or just out of the ordinary. I jump through in situations that make me think. So I struggle in my mind. While in the midst of hatred and confusion, I toss and turn to catch my thoughts, thinking of ways to run through my visions of perfection. My fury and anger spills out in front of me, so now everyone sees the true me. I see life as it's tilting before my eyes, like time is taking its toll on me. My ego blinds my sight to see the truth, something I sometimes hesitate to see.
Now let me stop in the interest of time. I'm running out. These kids are 12 years old, and they're all children of immigrants. They were not born in the United States. English is not their first language. And when you analyze their writing, it's actually quite spectacular. It's pretty amazing stuff. But the teacher in the back there never got the quality of this kind of writing until he connected students to the authentic audience of poets. Students, like in this room, the auditorium, I was told, although it's hard for me to believe, you've got a lot of kids in music here. The most outrageous number I have ever heard in all my travels, students are in your orchestra. In a small town like this, you will fill these seats, won't you? During a presentation. So let's agree that if you tell students they're going to have a performance, they will work after school and rehearse over and over again, right? This room. Okay, each classroom that you have now has a worldwide audience through the internet that you can connect your kids to people all over the world. And what I've learned, as I hope you can see in this short version video, is that when students get an authentic audience, they will practice, 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 because it's actually more important to do well with an authentic audience than to get a grade from a teacher. It's the authentic audience that really motivates a lot of students. So to wrap this up, one, I think we should teach people the powerful tools of accessing information, but really understanding what you access. And I'll spend some more time in the workshop following this one on that. Two, for the first time in history, a telephone call anywhere in the world is free. Anywhere in the world. And connecting students to authentic audiences is one of the most powerful motivators I know to develop student work. Third, on top of that, for the teachers in the room, if you don't have something like an iPod, or for those of you who have Windows machines, you can download Audacity. It's not quite what GarageBand is, but it will get you going. Audacity. You can create podcasts out of your classroom so that students can listen over and over again. And it turns out, as more technology is being developed, students are listening more and more. We need to tap into what they're already doing when they're not with us. So I gotta tell you, I have had more excitement here today that there are teachers preparing kids for this world than any place I've been. You should be congratulated. I am thrilled to be here and look forward to talking to you during the rest of our time together. So with that, thank you.